Will the iPhone 16 Pro Max revolutionize smartphones as we know them? From groundbreaking AI features to a stunning new design, Apple's latest flagship is set to redefine mobile technology. But are these changes worth the upgrade? Let's kick things off with the most noticeable change, the size. Apple wasn't kidding around when they said they were going big this year. The iPhone 16 Pro Max sports a massive 6.9-inch display, making it the largest iPhone ever created. It's a slight bump up from the 15 Pro Max's 6.7-inch screen, but those extra 0.2 inches make a world of difference. Now, you might be thinking, great, another phone that won't fit in my pocket. But here's the kicker. Despite the large screen, the overall size increase is pretty minimal. The new Pro Max is only about 0.19 inches taller and a mere 0.019 inches wider than its predecessor. So yeah, you're getting more screen real estate without having to buy new pants. That's a win in our book. Speaking of that gorgeous display, it's not just bigger, it's better in every way. Apple has really outdone themselves this time. The new OLED panel is a technological marvel, boasting a peak brightness of 3,000 nits. For context, that's a 20% increase from the previous model, and it puts it on par with some of the brightest displays on the market. But brightness isn't everything. Apple also has managed to shrink the bezels down to an impossibly thin 1.15 millimeters. Might not sound like much, but when you see it in person, it's striking. The screen practically melts into the edges of the phone, creating an even more immersive viewing experience. Oh, and for all you sunlight warriors out there, this display is perfectly visible even in the brightest conditions. Whether you're scrolling through Instagram at the beach or answering emails in the park, you won't be squinting at your screen anymore. Now, let's talk about what's under the hood, because this is where things get really exciting. The iPhone 16 Pro Max is powered by Apple's new A18 Pro chip, and folks, it's an absolute beast. Early benchmarks show this chip outperforming not just other smartphones, but even some of Apple's own M-series chips found in MacBooks. We're talking desktop-class performance in a device that fits in your pocket. It's mind-boggling. But what does this mean for real-world use? Well, everything's faster. Apps open in the blink of an eye. Complex video edits that used to take minutes now happen in seconds, and even the most demanding mobile games run like a dream. But the true power of the A18 Pro shines when it comes to AI tasks, which brings us to our next big change. With the iPhone 16 Pro Max, Apple has finally thrown its hat into the AI ring in a big way. They're calling it Apple Intelligence, and it's set to revolutionize how we interact with our devices. First up, Siri has received a major overhaul. It's smarter, more contextually aware, and can handle complex multi-step requests with ease. Want to plan a weekend getaway? Just ask Siri to check your calendar, find flights and hotels within your budget, and even suggest activities based on your interests. It's like having a personal assistant in your pocket. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. Apple Intelligence extends to most of the native apps. In Photos, you can now use AI to edit your pictures with incredible precision. Want to remove that photo bomber from your otherwise perfect vacation snap? Done. Need to adjust the lighting in a tricky shot? Easy peasy. Even the Notes app has gotten smarter. It can now suggest ways to reorganize your thoughts, offer writing improvements, and even help brainstorm ideas. It's like having a writing coach on standby 24/7. The best part? Most of this AI processing happens right on the device, thanks to that powerful A18 Pro chip. This means faster response times and better privacy compared to cloud-based AI solutions. All right, photography enthusiasts, this section is for you. The iPhone has always had great cameras, but with the 16 Pro Max, Apple has really outdone themselves. Let's start with the main sensor. It's now a 1/1.4-inch sensor, which is slightly larger than the one in the 15 Pro Max. This means better low-light performance and improved overall image quality. But the real showstopper? The new 48-megapixel ultra-wide camera. That's a massive jump from the previous 12 megapixels, and it shows in the results. Landscape shots are now packed with an incredible amount of detail. The telephoto lens has also gotten a serious upgrade. We're looking at a 300mm focal length, more than double what the 15 Pro Max offered. This means you can zoom in further than ever before without losing quality. Whether you're trying to capture wildlife or just want to snap a pic of that far-off landmark, the 16 Pro Max has got you covered. Video capabilities have been improved too. While 8K recording was already possible on the 15 Pro Max, the 16 Pro Max takes it to the next level with improved stabilization and better low-light performance. Filmmakers, vloggers, and anyone who loves shooting video are going to have a field day with this phone. Oh, and let's not forget about the new capture button. This dedicated physical button makes it easier than ever to quickly launch the camera app and start shooting. It's a small addition, but one that makes a big difference in day-to-day use. Now, all these fancy features are great, but they don't mean much if your phone dies halfway through the day. Thankfully, Apple has addressed this with a beefier battery in the 16 Pro Max. We're looking at a 4,676 mAh battery, up from the 4,422 mAh in the 15 Pro Max. Coupled with the more efficient A18 Pro chip, this translates to seriously impressive battery life. Apple claims over 30 hours of video playback, and in our test, it easily lasts a full day of heavy use with juice to spare. The only downside? Charging speeds haven't seen a significant upgrade. While competitors are pushing 45-watt or even 65-watt fast charging, the 16 Pro Max still tops out at 27 watts. It's not a deal breaker, but it's an area where we hope to see improvement in future models. When it comes to overall design, Apple hasn't strayed too far from what works. The 16 Pro Max retains the sleek premium look of its predecessor with that gorgeous titanium frame that's both lighter and stronger than the stainless steel of older models. But there are some subtle changes. The aforementioned capture button is the most noticeable addition, giving the side of the phone a slightly different look and feel. The camera bump on the back is a tad larger to accommodate those improved lenses, but it's not dramatically different from the 15 Pro Max. Color-wise, Apple has introduced a new option that's causing quite a stir. Alongside the classic space black, silver, and gray, we now have a stunning new color called Desert Titanium. It's a sort of bronzy gold that looks incredibly premium and has quickly become a fan favorite. Let's talk connectivity, because the iPhone 16 Pro Max is ready for the networks of tomorrow. It's one of the first phones to support Wi-Fi 7, which means blazing fast wireless speeds and better performance in crowded network environments. While Wi-Fi 7 routers aren't commonplace yet, it's great to see Apple future-proofing their flagship device. 5G capabilities have been improved as well, with better support for millimeter wave and mid-band frequencies. This means faster, more reliable 5G connections in more places. Of course, hardware is only part of the story. The iPhone 16 Pro Max ships with iOS 18, and it's a substantial update that really lets the new hardware flex its muscles. The home screen is more customizable than ever, allowing you to place widgets and apps wherever you want. The control center has gotten a sleek redesign, making it easier to access your most used toggles and settings. But the real star of iOS 18 is how it integrates with Apple Intelligence. From smarter notifications that learn your preferences over time to contextual suggestions in apps like Maps and Messages, iOS 18 feels like it's always one step ahead, anticipating what you need before you even ask. Now, let's address the elephant in the room, the price. The iPhone 16 Pro Max starts at $1,199 for the 256GB model, which is the same starting price as the 15 Pro Max. Considering the significant upgrades, it's almost surprising that Apple didn't increase the price. Is it worth it? Well, that depends on your needs and budget. If you're coming from an older iPhone model, the upgrades are substantial and could easily justify the cost. If you're already rocking a 15 Pro Max, the decision becomes a bit trickier. The improvements are certainly there, but whether they're worth upgrading after just a year is a personal decision. Lastly, it's not just an incremental update. It feels like a significant leap forward, especially when it comes to AI integration and camera capabilities. Whether you're a power user, a photography enthusiast, or just someone who wants a phone that can keep up with whatever you throw at it, the iPhone 16 Pro Max is a compelling option. What do you think? Are you impressed by these changes? Will you be upgrading to the 16 Pro Max? Drop a comment below and let us know your thoughts. And hey, if you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. We'll be bringing you more in-depth looks at the latest tech, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.